Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTBase.com. Welcome to our weekly COT review. Today we're going to be analyzing the 20th Commitments of Traders Report of 2022. And as we always do, we shall start off by looking at the largest changes in commercials positions. Before we jump to the review, just a brief reminder for those of you who are just joining and starting off with COT analysis. Here at COTBase.com, you'll get a lot of educational material explaining to you what this report is all about and how you can analyze it. And benefit from the very, very valuable data that it contains. We also have some very useful videos for you that will guide you through the analysis process. Okay, back to the review and starting off with our first market, which is lumber. You can see we have a 28% change in commercials net position. This is based on a 52-week look back period, which of course corresponds to a year. And you can see this recent change size on the chart. It is definitely much greater than average. We have seen greater changes in the past. It is a bullish COT change signal coming after a weakness that has been going on in the lumber market since March. So this bullish change signal suggests that we should see a bit of a rise. You can see what happened to the market just after we got this larger than average change over here. It actually managed to halt this decline for some time. Again, the COT change signals have an effect on the market in the near term. So if you want to understand the longer term picture, you want to switch to a 5-year chart, which gives you the opportunity to examine the stress levels in the market. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm taking the horizontal line that you can see, putting it at the recent report, the recent net positions of commercials, which is roughly where large speculators are at right now, so about net zero, and you can see where that stands on this 5 years chart. So it is a definitely bullish COT Extreme, suggesting that we could see a bottoming happening in lumber in the next couple of months. Of course, these take time to develop. We're definitely not at any bearish extreme. You can go back to January of 2018 to see what a bearish extreme looks like. We are at a bullish COT Extreme right now. Moving on to the next market, this will be coffee. Here we have a 22% change in commercials net positions. Jumping to the 1 year chart, you can see how big that change size is compared to the past 1 year. Definitely greater than average. It is a bearish COT change signal, suggesting some weakness in the next few days. Moving on to the 5 years chart, you can see that here we have a more bearish picture. You can see the most bullish COT Extreme from September of 2018. And then, of course, we had a significant bearish extreme in February of this year at that top. Since then, of course, we have been shifting away from those levels. Is this a bullish extreme already? Well, in relative terms, if you would be looking at a COT index set for, let's say, a year or two, maybe. But on the 5 years chart, you can definitely see that we are pretty far away from those bullish extremes that we had in 2018. The next market will be feeder cattle. Here we have a 17% change in commercials net positions. You can see we have an all-time COT Extreme in large speculators. We're going to talk about that. But let's start off with the larger than average change size in large speculators, a bit larger than average. Large speculators, on the other hand, they have shifted their positions a little bit more dramatically. It is, of course, a bullish COT change signal coming after a decline that's been going on for a few weeks now, suggesting some sort of rebound in the next few days. Now, if we move on to the 5 years chart, you can see that it is actually a bullish extreme at the same time. So large speculators all time means that throughout the COT history of feeder cattle, futures and options data, we have never had such a reading, which is roughly 7,500 contracts net short for large speculators. Of course, commercials very close to their all-time extremes as well, suggesting strengthening in the medium to long term. Moving on to large speculators, COT Extreme. Of course, we talked about feeder cattle. Let's open lean hogs with 165 report extreme in large speculators positions. This, of course, is a bullish extreme. it can grow to even greater levels, as you may see on the chart from 2018, 2019, February of 2019. What a bullish extreme over there. So we're getting to those extreme levels as we're speaking. The next market will be the New Zealand dollar. Here we have 112 report extreme, so a roughly 2 years extreme in large speculators positions. It is definitely more bearish. You can see the most bullish extreme back over here in 2017, and then we had that significant bearish extreme throughout October, November of 2019. We are headed in that direction as we're speaking, so the bullish extreme is becoming greater and greater. And last but definitely not least for this review, copper with 109 report extreme in large speculators, again roughly 2 years since we had a reading of that magnitude. It is of course an unquestionable bullish extreme that of course if you go back in time, you can see that it can easily grow to even greater extreme levels. So caution is advised. Don't expect this to be the bottom necessarily. It may be, but there's definitely space for traders to gain, to increase their net positions. Commercials, of course, they're net long. Large speculators, they're net short. Before we reach a bottom, we shall see. This, of course, is a wonderful tool for measuring stress levels, but it's not going to pinpoint the exact change in the trend. That is for sure. Now, that was all for this review, but of course, don't forget there's a lot to do here at COTBase.com. Let me start off with saying that, of course, we are only looking at a few market categories. You can look at also grains, stock indexes, interest rates, and cryptocurrencies as well. You can, of course, analyze multiple data sets and look at the newest COT report types. We, of course, are analyzing the classic or so-called legacy commitments of traders reports here in these reviews. We analyze the futures and options data type, but you have the ability to switch to only futures or only to options data type as well. You can, of course, dig into your analysis with a bunch of great tools. You can focus on a specific market that you want to analyze. So, for instance, British pound over here, and there you go. The entire data set for the British pound is at your access here at COTBase.com. If you want, you can have a look at our newest indicators, the COTBase Pro, which focuses on the classic COT analysis. You can use our indicator within NinjaTrader. It also gives you access to the website. You can also download data. Then we have the ICOT intraday indicator, which is a more newer indicator. It does not use data from CFTC, but rather our own indicator. As you can see here on the next chart, quite clearly, this is gold on a 1 minute candlestick chart, and you have these wonderful charts beneath the price chart, which of course are very similar to the COT charts that we analyze in these reviews. This is something that we came up with after many years of research to get a tool that is mimicking a little bit the ways that we approach markets from a COT analysis perspective, but it brings you down into the micro time frame. So thank you very much for being with me in this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I could give you some insight on this recent report. If you liked it, then please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I hope to see you in my next COT review. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care. Goodbye.